To the library, I just want to remind the village council that the library budget is statutory. And Lori, if you would start your remarks just explaining the formula that is approved by state statute that goes to funding all of the public libraries throughout the state of New Jersey.
Lori, can you lean in a little to the mic? Yeah.
Is your mic on?
Green light.
Look down here. See, there's.
Now we're on. Okay. Is that better?
Better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And Lori, you have to be awkwardly close to the microphone.
Yeah,
this is the
you got
system
it.
that we have. Thank you so much.
Okay. So I'm going to give you just a general overview, and then I'll pass it to Rebecca Rubenstein, our treasurer. Good evening, everyone. So you may feel like you've heard this presentation before because we are again sitting in an enviable position with regards to our funding. As Keith mentioned, it is statutory, so there is a state minimum that the village is statutorily required to give us, and we find ourselves again with looking at an increase over last year. The good thing is that this funding will go directly to benefit the residents. So we have taken the excess funds, the 5% increase, and put that into materials and into building, which will directly benefit residents. Just as an aside, our circulation was right around 300,000 this year, and for the first time ever, electronic materials made up a third of our circulation. So the things that we're spending money on include books and the things you would expect the library to spend money on, but we are also servicing people who may not even come into the library but are still part of the community. So
Right,
I just wanted to.
But the statutory minimum is 5%?
Over last year.
But that's the statutory minimum, and that's what we're talking about here. So we're discussing something that we don't have any choice in.
You're
Correct.
literally asking.
I didn't want to say that in a rude way, but
No, it's not rude. I just want to
honestly-
understand where we stand.
No, you're literally asking for the bare amount.
I'm asking, what I'm asking for is 0% over the third of a mil,
Right.
the minimum. So I'm asking for 0%.
I think I can speak for the
No
council that
additional
we-
discretionary funding.
Correct.
We unanimously support the statutory minimum.
Yeah.
And Lori, as far as your operating budget and your salaries and wages, this has all been thoroughly vetted and reviewed by the Library Board of Trustees?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. And I will just say, and I'm sorry to steal your thunder, but the reason for people watching at home, the reason why we can fund you guys at the minimum amount by state law, and you guys still do all the amazing things you do, volunteers, contribute money to all the large projects that the library supports. And I know we said we were going to try to limit the meeting and be somewhat quick, but that's just a call out we have to make, that the wonderful Library Foundation, the Friends of the Library, like, they make all that stuff possible, and given the position we're in, we can't tell you how much we appreciate that.
Great.
So Lori, if you would, if you could just give an overview of your operating budget.
Sure, I'm actually going to allow Rebecca to do that.
And then
She's our treasurer.
for the council, what we'll do is what is discretionary under the council's purview is what capital requests are being requested for this year. So let's do a highlight overview of the operating budget, and then we'll transition to capital.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
there you go. Yeah.
Hi. I'm Rebecca Rubenstein. I was just appointed to my second term as trustee of the Ridgewood Library. This is my 6th year as trustee and 3rd year as treasurer. A warm welcome to Councilmember Frank Mortimer. I thought it would be helpful to summarize how the library is funded. New Jersey municipal libraries are legally entitled to a minimum appropriation based on what's called a 1/3 mill rate, which is calculated as 33 cents on each $1,000 of equalized value of all accessible property in the village. Equalized value is the estimated market value of your home as compared to the assessed value, which is the value of your home reflected on the tax rolls. The library's minimum appropriation has increased over the past few years. This year, it is 5% higher versus 2024. The library understands that this level of funding fluctuates year over year, and an increase is not always guaranteed. The library is fortunate to be able to supplement its appropriation with money raised by its Friends and Foundation fundraising organizations, which collectively pay for all cultural and educational programming, databases, museum passes, selected technology and building improvements, and much more. In 2025, the library will see its first full year of providing passport services to the community.
Yes.
Last year, the rollout that began in June went smoothly and was much appreciated by its users. This year, it is estimated that over 1,000 passport applications will be processed, representing about $54,000 in gross revenue or $27,000 in net revenue into our budget. We are pleased to have created a material new income stream that benefits both the library and the community. The library also receives income from the Pease Library building on the west side of town. Pease generates rental income from its two tenants, Northwest Bergen Central Dispatch, aka 911, and Bowler Engineering. The building has been self-sustaining despite ongoing maintenance and adherence to historical specifications. In 2025, the Pease Library will contribute approximately $78,000 of net revenue into the operating budget. The bulk of our appropriation increase will cover a 2.5% union negotiated salary increase, as well as significantly higher healthcare benefits due to a 16.3% rate increase and a premium increase due to a full-time employee now requiring a family plan who replaced an employee who had waived insurance coverage. Our technology expenses have increased due to absorbing into our operating budget a previous capital request for new computers. Building and grounds expenses have also increased as we continue to fund long-deferred repairs and maintenance. For example, we would like to update both sets of malfunctioning automatic doors and address issues with our two elevators. Finally, we are requesting a $271,800 capital budget to address critical facility needs. Our top priority is renovating the first floor bathrooms, which are outdated and urgently require modernization. The second priority is updating the smaller second floor bathrooms to improve functionality and accessibility. And lastly, we aim to replace the carpeting in the entire reference area, which spans most of the second floor and has significant wear. We plan to launch a fundraising campaign to support renovations on both floors, with the majority of funding anticipated to come from private contributions. We know these improvements will benefit the entire community, and your support is vital. Thank you for your consideration, and please let us know if you have any questions.
And I just wanted to note one other thing. In the years when our third of a mil has not met our operating needs, the village has always been generous in supporting our operational needs. So we appreciate that as well, because you never know when the lean times are going to show back up, so.
Yeah, I want to echo what Evan said. Just the library's awesome. I think my wife and daughter spend pretty much every day there. So, and the passport thing, like we just, I said at the council meeting last week that we just updated my daughter's, and it was fantastic. And so I think that that's great. But I do have a question as to why it's showing that there's a cost involved with you have the patron service fees, $116,000, and it says FY passport in 2025.
We do have two employees that are we have costs with
Got it.
employees
For-
and mailing and things like that. So there are some administrative costs to running the passport program.
So it's salaries and postage
Yeah.
are the expenses.
Understood. And then you were just saying about, it went fast, the insurance, that you're able to provide family insurance now, which previously you didn't. Is that what you said?
No, it's for one individual employee. We have, a variety of plans, and people can cycle in and out of plans depending on what their family requires.
So the family plans, when an employee chooses that, they're very expensive to the library. So this particular employee had replaced a previous employee who waived their coverage, perhaps because their spouse had insurance, so that was zero cost. And now they've gone and the new employee needs family coverage, which is much more expensive.
And as you know, that health insurance keeps going up. So
Yeah.
as I've said, these 5% increases are actually defraying serious operational costs that if we weren't in such a favorable position, we would struggle to cover, not struggle to cover, but it would impact our budget.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I have some questions about your elevator and your roof.
Sure.
It looks like.
Okay, the roof is good. Let's not start roof.
The roof has been replaced.
Rumors. We did the roof last
okay,
year.
The cupola.
Okay, yes.
It sounds like it's leaking, and
I'm sorry.
you're planning to do something about it in 2029. Can it wait that long?
We actually don't need to replace we thought we were going to have to replace the cupola, but the issue was resolved with repair.
Great.
So we were very happy for once.
Anything else for the library?
Oh, capital?
Okay.
Do you want to
sorry?
talk about capital?
So the capital request, I think they hit on it, is primarily for the carpet, right, Lori?
We have carpet and bathrooms.
Right.
So I will just say, just off the bat, that the foundation has funded a lot of interior improvements of the downstairs and are continuing to fundraise for the upstairs and will likely continue on to the auditorium. So what we are requesting are what we see as village capital improvements that, that would come anyway, whether we were renovating the library or not.
I would just note, I mean, it looks like you're asking for 271,000 this year. Next year, you're only asking for 17,000, and then you go back up. Maybe there can be a smoothing out, because I think, and I'm not sure how much you were here before, we're about $4.5 million over our capital budget where we're legally allowed to spend. And, based upon, I know even Siobhan's comments just now on OEM, we got to choose between fire trucks or a new bathroom. Yeah, so obviously, again, I know I think you call it the Hunger Games, Keith, start tomorrow. But maybe there's some more thought, or to maybe trying to figure out a way to
keep in mind too. We started to have some conversation last year, and we're going to resume those conversations with the Community Development Block Grant Program. They do fund ADA transitional handicap restrooms. So that's a discussion that we want to have with Rob Esposito down at the county and his team to talk about if that's an opportunity to offset some of these costs that the library is requesting in capital for the restroom upgrades. And then obviously the carpeting is something that's also up there.
Yeah. But the library looks great, so.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
It's going to look better. So we're calling 2025 the year of the building, so.
Come visit.
We love
Yes.
Other questions?
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you so
much.
much. Thanks for coming in
Thank
tonight.
you all.